as midnight north, we ask you be here now. Father, air your inspiration holds together all that lives. As we breathe, our minds see clearly, leading us to love and give. Raging whirlwind, whispered breezes, violent gale and gentle cloud. With the blade as sharp as morning east, we ask you be here now. Brother fire, great transformer, share the passion of the sun. In our hearts your warmth revives us, cooks our food and heats our homes. Flaming candles, blood within us, blazing desert will to grow. With the one directing power south, we ask you be here now. Sister water, ever flowing, ocean, river, mother rain. Drink we now and quench our thirsting, cleanse us, we begin again. Mist and ice alone still changes all that courage will allow. With the cup, the holy chalice, rest we ask you be here now. Lover, spirit, intuition, in the center of our souls. In your love we find relation, all connected we are whole. Timeless mystery, quiet conscience, deepest values voice inside. With the drum and with the cauldron, this we ask you, be our guide.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Ken Claiborne, and I'm a member of the board of this congregation. Welcome to you all. I hope you don't get tired of seeing me. I think I was up here last week. Welcome to you all. Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Elkhart is a welcoming community encouraging religious freedom, nurturing individual spiritual and ethical growth, and celebrating diversity and promoting a just and sustainable world. If you would like to know more about UUFE, please go to our website at uufe.org. And please join us after the service for coffee hour. Joan made coffee, and it's in the gathering place.
And hot water.
And hot water. And please join us. We'd like to talk to everyone. Thank you.
Whoa, it's bright up here.
It is.
Good morning, I'm Linda Becker. I've been a member of this congregation for 25 years. Oh, and Judy Darnell is unable to do announcements this morning, so I'm going to share those with you right now. The first one being the second set of small group meetings is underway. If you have yet to participate in the second round, please be sure to respond to your group leader when they contact you. They really appreciate our input. There will be a special congregational meeting Sunday, April 10th after service. We will discuss and vote for funding for the rehabilitation of the big parking lot. We had a very informative meeting last week, and we look forward to seeing everybody on April 10th. The annual congregational meeting will be after service on May 15th. Prior to that, and that's to elect officers and pass the budget. Prior to that time, we do need all the annual reports from committee chairs, and we would like those in by Tuesday, April 15th, please. And those should be sent to Mike Darnell so that he can compile them for the official annual report of committees. The Stewardship Committee is very happy to report at the conclusion of the UUFE 22-23 Operations Year Budget Pledge Campaign, that's a mouthful, the tremendous resolve of our members and friends who have stepped up to our annual budget challenge. Currently, UUFE has a pledge commitment of $84,210. This represents 95.5% of the minimum target of 88,000 pledge goal. The final results have been reported to the Finance Committee in advance of their April 10th, 11th, fourth quarter meeting as part of the review of the UUFE operation budget, which will be presented on May 15th. Special thanks goes to the Stewardship Committee member TJ Shum for her follow-through with phone inquiries to previous pledgers, to Ken Claiborne, Stewardship Chair, and of course William Becker, who was the committee chair. Thank you for all your hard work. Let's see, there's a special announcement here from Steve Kripe. Set your calendars for April 30th. That's a Saturday for cleanup of County Road 9/Johnson Street. We really need everyone's help. It's been several years since we've been able to do the cleanup, and there's a sign-up sheet on the island. So we really would like to have some participation and good weather. I think the meeting time was 9 o'clock. Is that right, Steve? Yeah. Okay. And lastly, last week's offering of $52 was shared with the Elkhart County Humane Society. This week's offering will be shared with the NAACP of Elkhart Program Ad Fund. You will find the collection bowls at the back of the room.
They're actually on the island today.
They're on the island. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the sanctuary.
Good morning.
So we're very happy to be in here. We wanted to make the change because the sound is much better in here. But right now, I'm not sure what people at home are hearing. So if you're at home, you can't hear me, but you may not be able to hear me. Maybe they can. We're working on it, so hopefully by next Sunday we'll have it all figured out. So we gained something by moving over here, and then we gained some more problems. So
It says they hear us just fine.
oh,
Yay!
wonderful. Technology, it's just wow. I've been so worried about that, and I guess it's okay.
Saying it's better than last week.
Yeah, last week was a problem, but maybe we figured it out. I don't know. And thanks to Randy for running sound. That's really very helpful. If I only have to wear 2 hats instead of 3. Okay, so I think we're ready for the gong.
Our meditation for this morning is Our Roots of Resilience by Kimberly Ann Tomczak Carlson. Feel the gravity of the earth holding you in place. Wiggle your toes as if they were roots. Roots connect you to the earth, lending you strength. Gently sway in the wind, turning your body like the trunk of a tree, leaning this way and that, bending as the air pushes and pulls. What surrounds you may sway you, make you bend and feel unbalanced. Wiggle your toes. Know that your roots can hold you as you grow and learn. A tree is nourished by the soil and water. You are nourished by food the earth grows and the water it provides. You are cared for and loved by many people. Breathe deeply. Breathe deeply. Still yourself. Know that your roots are strong. Wiggle your roots. Ostara is a pagan holiday and is one of the 8 Sabbats. Ostara celebrates the spring equinox. The word Ostara comes from the Anglo-Saxon goddess name Ostare. Ostare represented spring and new beginnings. Like many other spring celebrations in other cultures, Ostara symbolizes fertility, rebirth, and renewal. This celebration was converted to the Christian holiday of Easter to celebrate the resurrection of Jesus, the figurehead of modern-day Christianity. Easter reaffirms the promise of God's love through the sacrifice of his only begotten Son, who was reborn, or rather resurrected. Much as the earth dies in winter, it resurrects itself in the spring. In these ways, our different faith paths have that in common. The last few years have been difficult for all of us in many and varied reasons. We plan for as best an outcome as possible to ensure that our lives will not just be sustained, but prosper. The difficulties have been mostly due to the ever-changing landscape regarding general health mandates related to the global pandemic. Despite our congregational best efforts, things have taken unforeseen turns that have created many layers of doubt and lots of insecurity in the minds and hearts of many of our beloved fellowship communities. Insecurities and doubts that will not easily be put to rest or quelled. We must remember that everything has a season, and things worth having and celebrating take time and effort. Ostara offers the hope for renewed life. The UUA worship theme of this month is renewing faith, and I can't think of a better way to renew our faith in each other and renew the good we can accomplish together. Focusing on the diligent hard work before us, our congregation needs to continue to be steadfast as a growing tree. Like caring for a tree, one must think beyond the roots. It's only with practical knowledge-based planning, follow-through of those plans and intentions, that will provide and produce the desired outcomes. With this in mind, we must continue to ask questions that we don't have simple answers to. We must continue to take a long, honest look in the mirror at ourselves. Our passions are our roots, our anchor for being together. Our commitment to our fellowship provides the framework for the action of our passions. Our love for one another are the leaves of our steadfast tree. energizing us to renew our fellowship. With spring renewal, it is sometimes necessary to prune back that which no longer serves the growth of the tree. We must continue to seek out assistance for the difficult times ahead and make use of the resources that are available to us as we move forward. If we leave things unexplored, dark truths not exposed, they will only continue to fester and be a blight upon us. While it is true that we love to focus on the brighter side of things, as we look to the spring, warmer temperatures, sunlight, and the shedding of heavy layers of winter, we still need to examine the soil we are attempting to grow in. It is important that we are honest with ourselves about the past that we have grown in to this point. Our congregation needs a better understanding of the information available, such as the consultant's report conducted by Kathy Berg. Increased use of technology, new ways of engaging with each other at safe distance, fostering the feeling of togetherness that we all seek out in our fellowship, are hardships that we are trying to navigate. These are just some of the components of our congregational soil that need to be examined. One component for healthy congregational soil can be found in stewardship. Looking back at some of our stewardship committee's previous themes, the one that comes to mind for me is, what is your why? By revisiting our own personal reasons why our fellowship is important enough to each of us to continue to support, we renew our commitment and passion for our beloved community. In those times when I think I might not fit in anymore, might not have anything else left to contribute, I am reminded by great friends that I have a unique perspective that is much needed for this congregation. If I step away, I would not only be doing myself a disservice, but also all of you. I might not have the riches to contribute to our monthly operational budget, but for a long time, before our recent pandemic, if it were not for myself and my spouse coming in early and making coffee, there would have been less joyfulness in our congregation. Just knowing that the little bit we could do to support the rest of you was enough. The joy I cherish from watching my child learn and grow into the fiercely bold individual that they are becoming is partly due to all of you. It is sometimes those memories, growing and learning experiences that remind me why I am a part of this fellowship. Finding ways that we can each be active part of this dynamic faith fellowship, to work as a cohesive unit, to be the good we want to see in our larger community, defines our congregation's goals. We have found recent momentum, for example, in regards to education and access to information in our public schools. This is all great, a great place to start. Our congregation needs to speak up for the voiceless, to be rabble-rousers and remind our larger community that our faith is as loud and as strong as needs to be heard. Social justice work must be cultivated in healthy soil. Soil is often tested for key nutrients, as any gardener can attest. Our congregational soil was tested last fall and was found to be lacking in some nutrients. To plant the seeds of cooperation and build the support with more hands of our members to truly be a congregation willing to walk the walk of our convictions, we need to examine our roles as nutrients in our congregational soil. Healthy soil is well balanced between acidic and alkaline components. Last fall's board retreat consultants report made several observations about our congregation. The report stated that we lack the nutrient of a shared vision for UUFE. A formal assessment of the congregation was not done by the board, committee on ministry, and ministers in a timely manner. This too is a lacking nutrient. Relationships between boards and former ministers have been characterized by mistrust and negativity. This is a crucial missing nutrient in our congregational soil. In recent months, some information about this congregation's history has come to light, and we need to examine and find better ways of processing in order to move forward. I feel that this is the soil that we have been growing up in for some time. We need to root out the mistrust and the resentment. We need to find constructive ways that support a shared vision to move forward. We need to take ownership of the lack of properly processing the hurts before now. This is the hurt that will come to fester and remain a blight upon us. We are not perfect. We are human. We all make mistakes. Learning from our past mistakes is vital, particularly when we wish to replenish our congregational soil. I believe that this process will also have the benefit of showing others that while we are not perfect, we can learn, change, and grow. In past years, we have had a boon to our congregation of people finding a spiritual home with us, from all walks of life, some single, some partnered, some parents, and some who find us a little later in life. All are welcome. In one of my favorite hymns, "Come, come, whoever you are," we are joyous in the meeting and greeting of new to us folks who may be a wanderer, worshiper, or lover of leaving. In more recent years, we have not had as many visitors that find a place with us for varied reasons. For some, it may be that they do not see themselves in us, even if we are speaking the right words, being open and being good listeners. For others, it may be that they fail to see children among us. If they don't see themselves represented, they will never stay. As an example, one cannot deny that education is an important tool to foster understanding, but it also has its limitations. It can work as a separation between the classes, reminding those without higher education that they always seem to be less than those that have even a 2-year degree. People who barely pass high school usually only manage to work minimum wage jobs and don't see themselves in us as a congregation. For a long time, we have had an us versus them outlook within our congregation. We don't look like them, they don't talk like us. We don't typically engage in the same activities as them. So even if they like what we are saying, why would anyone decide to stay and become one of us based on such attitudes? Have we forgotten how to truly widen our circle? I myself, while having a 2-year degree, still sometimes feel like an outsider. I don't feel like I measure up and that I am somehow always lacking. It isn't a comfortable feeling, and sometimes it makes me wonder why I stay. Dealing with past missteps, deciding what our passions are, and how we are going to show support and show up for those issues will be how we once again learn to walk the walk of our convictions and our beliefs. Extending well thought out congregational support for those issues that are in line with our principles will go a long way to reminding our larger community that we are still very much present, able, and willing to be active. In those actions, we will be working on widening our circle, getting to know more people involved in the movements that we decide as a fellowship are important enough to show up for. By fostering these relationships, we may, with proper intention, again start to see more visitors that decide we are worthy and see enough of themselves in us that they decide to stay and become one of us. After careful self-examination, processing, and planning, which will help replenish the nutrients of our soil, we may begin to see signs of new growth on our well-established tree that is UUFE. To see new ways of understanding, ways of being with each other, and the outreach we are capable of when we work together will be astounding. In my 16 years as a member of this congregation, I have seen strength, wisdom, a willingness to share and teach, a can-do attitude that matches my own. We as a congregation sport a long history of not doing things in order and achieving things that some larger congregations struggle to achieve. I know us to be a competent group of educated people who are passionate about human rights and basic fundamental access to information. Our congregation has a rich history of rabble-rousing for legal change. We have worked towards raising awareness and support for our local food banks, shelters, programs that uplift the lesser-served persons of our larger community. Sometimes on a personal, individual level because it is our personal passion project. Other times as a congregational whole because the issue or cause went against the beloved principles that we hold sacred. Throughout this sermon, the spiritual nature of Ostara has been ever present. At our Imbolc service at the end of January, I read a meditation that invited you to envision what and how you were going to be part of our growing circle. What were some of the things that came to your mind? We are a group of people who decided for our own personal reasons that we belonged to this fellowship. We members who signed the membership book decided to be an active part of our growing tree. Steadfast growing trees have rings, circles, if you will, that show the years of healthy, steady growth, years of drought, years of flooding, years of poor nutrition. In recent years, we have seen a drought of new members, specifically those with young children. We have also seen a year of flooding. If we contemplate the last 2 years, I can easily imagine that we could conclude that we have just been through a few years of poor nutrition. How will we then provide the proper nutrients to support our steadfast tree? How will we engage and play our part to ensure that we do not fail, falter, or fall? I would be dismayed to think that our fellowship decided to bury its proverbial head in the sand and allow our sturdy roots to rot away in the emotional hurt of our past. As we move through the difficult work of self-examination, attempting to plot our path forward as a congregation of like-minded people, I sincerely hope that we remember to have grace with each other. Our past is not without its challenges. It will take strength and fortitude to properly deal with and set to rest. It will leave some of us very raw emotionally, and some feeling confused. I believe that we can move past these feelings with compassion and empathy. I hope that we can all move through this phase and feel the warmth of heartfelt gratitude as we emerge stronger and with renewed vigor of our fellowship. Our chosen mission statement and our active part in our larger community. For it is our actions in the larger community that speak volumes about the quality and principles of the people of our fellowship, not just as individuals, but in our working as a whole towards our common goals. We are emerging from the winter of our discontent. What we emerge into is of our making. With careful planning, careful examination, guidance, and recommendations by the UUA and regional programs, I am confident that we can create, with proper nutrient-rich environment, for our steadfast tree to continue to grow and thrive. The connections we make in our larger community will serve to shed light upon the wealth of experience and knowledge of our members. That warm light helps to guide us in our next phase of our goals of community outreach, social justice, and meeting people where they are. While we do an okay job of reaching and supporting our own members in times of need, we also need to renew our commitment to the members of our larger community, outside of our fellowship. We cannot expect people to just wander in and stay. So many people in our city of Elkhart don't even know that we exist. I can imagine it's the same when it comes to the people in the county of Elkhart. How will each of us be the sweet milk, fresh honey, bountiful wildflowers of spring that invite, entice, and welcome potential visitors to our fellowship? How will we work together to foster the kinds of teamwork that others in our community admire? How will we move forward differently in the next few years to be the change we wish to see in the world? After the service, I invite each and every one of us to contemplate these questions, have lengthy discussions, and let's formulate a plan that we can all put into action. This is the spirit and nature of Ostara.